right, when you are ready.
We're live. You'd be seeing it.
Oh. My stuff froze. So, I think we're back. This is a professional, I promise. All right, we're going to go through this properly this time. The streets of Long Beach are calling, and the walls are ready to punish the slightest mistake. After a chaotic Laguna Seca where Matias Macromini emerged victorious while championship contenders faltered, the battle now moves to one of the most iconic street circuits in motorsport. Will Roberts, still leading the standings, had to recover from trouble last week, while Victor Valley and Josh Stoltz saw their races for the win end early. Now with tight corners, unforgiving barriers, and limited passing opportunities, precision will be key. Will a new contender rise, or will the concrete claim more victims? The lights are on, the engines are roaring, and we go green in California, live next on ASN. Our venue for this evening is the virtual Long Beach Street Circuit, first used in 1975. This 1.97-mile temporary course winds through the streets of Long Beach, California. It features tight corners, concrete walls, and limited runoff that demand precision. Signature sections include the high-speed blast down Shoreline Drive and the tight hairpin final corner leading onto the front straight. Long Beach has hosted Formula One, IndyCar, and IMSA, with historic moments and dramatic finishes, making it one of the most iconic street circuits in North America. The format for the TORQ IndyCar series is as follows. We are finishing open practice now, which leads us into a 3-lap solo qualifying session to determine the grid for our 30-lap race this evening. The second season of the TORQ IndyCar series continues tonight live on the Automotive Sports Network with Stephan Moreau in the production truck and also next to me in the commentary box. My name is Josh Mertz as we welcome you to Long Beach, California. Cameras all season on ASN, brought to you by Whiplash SimCams. Be sure to check them out at facebook.com/WSimCams. And thank you, Andrew Cardinale IV, for your camera support. Mr. Moreau, we had Matias Macromini stealing the show as everybody else faltered in turn 1 last week. Will Roberts recovered from that crash to come back to finish second. Victor Valley, Josh Stoltz crashed in the corkscrew. We've got a slightly smaller field. I don't know how to read a script or key myself into a broadcast. How are you? What are your thoughts about tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, and honestly, I'm excited to see how this track handles. I personally haven't raced Long Beach yet, but I've watched enough replays to know that this is a really, really tight track, and every racer here will be racing on the edge tonight. It's going to be electrifying, and I can't wait to see it.
So let's take a look at some programming notes coming into the 3rd round of the TORQ IndyCar series in Long Beach. We have the TORQ Sports Car Series on Thursday from Monza in Italy. That is the 20th at 8:40 p.m. Eastern Time. We've got Brian Sawyer doing the iRacing Strength of Field Rallycross races on Saturday. And then unbelievably, it's NASA Rallycross time, because next week for TORQ, there's an off week. So we don't have a stream on Tuesday. We don't have a stream on Thursday. And it's already NASA time, which is bananas to even think about. You're going to have NASA Rallycross lights on Sunday the 2nd at, I think that's 8:30 p.m. Eastern. It's really hard to read internally. Apologies for that one. I think for the lights coverage, we're going to have Josh Darnell and Ethan Halsey. That's going to be a fun one. We got NASA Rallycross contenders on the 3rd, also at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. You'll have Justin Robichaux, Brian Sawyer for that. TORQ IndyCar at Indianapolis. So our next round is going to go to the racing capital of the world. It's going to be in 2 weeks' time. You'll have myself and Stephan Moreau for that one. And a notice to NASA Rallycross Futures. I know we're getting super ahead of ourselves with 2 weeks notice, but NASA Rallycross Futures will be featured on ASN Plus. It's going to be a soft launch of our new, I would say, members-only subscription tier. We've got Roland, Brian Sawyer, myself, Victor Valley, discussing that You'll notice on the ASN news ticker, I think it's going to be $2 a month for access to that. We're going to start out with just that. We might get, of course, more content. I know Cody Irvin and I have discussed a podcast potentially. I've got a personal life buddy and I potentially doing like a Grand Tour style show if we got some time. We've got some stuff cooking in the works for ASN. It's going to be a great time. Details regarding that will be, of course, shared in the coming days. But in regards to the next stream, Thursday, sports cars, myself and Brian for that. But we've still got some qualifying here in Long Beach, Stephen. And Miguel Alcrudo, 1 minute 7.792. He is done with his run. Johnny Eckert, 1 minute 9.3 was his fastest lap. Will Roberts on his last lap, if he can ride on board, car number 2, our points leader tonight. And he is heading into the final couple of corners down Seaside Way to the Firestone corner. Such a tricky corner to get right. Easy to lock up the brakes. Extremely bumpy here at Long Beach, of course. 72 miles an hour on the apex, rounding the final kind of double apex left-hander in this hairpin. You will be full right lock to get the car to rotate. First gear, 30 miles an hour, and now down Shoreline Drive, the front straightaway. Crosses the line to end his second lap, 1 minute 9.2. He is still a second and a half away from Miguel Alcrudo. We got 1 lap left. Down to turn number 1, braking at the 200-meter board. Do not mount the curb too far. It'll upset the car. Hug the walls right, hug the walls left, around the fountain. And to the other end of the circuit. Extremely bumpy. Hits the curb a little bit wrong. There's some sleeping policeman curbs as well. Not sure if that's going to count as an off-track for Roberts. And down to the other end of Shoreline Drive. Very tricky to get this corner. Third, fourth gear, off camber, up the hill. Driver's left. Now driver's right into the wall, basically, is the apex. And now back down Seaside Way. Will Roberts be able to pick up a second and a half? I'm not sure. He matched his practice time, I believe, and I could be wrong on that. Excuse me there, I am wrong. 1 minute 7.7 was his fastest lap in practice through the hairpin for the final time. Very slow on the exit of the hairpin for Roberts. Across the line, the points leader goes. Car number 2, 1 minute 8.3. His qualifying run is done. Half a second off of Alcrudo. As we look at Alex Buffoli.
Alex Moreau has set a 110.6, and Darius Tim has set his first lap as well with a 111.4.
And DJ Weeks on track as well. Up the hill and back down the hill to Seaside Way. Sliding it in the 97 if we can pick him up down the back straightaway. And he's finishing up his qualifying run in the 97. Tim's, Buffoli, everyone finishing up their laps. I'd say we could ride on board, but these guys are basically done with their laps. So it's not going to be the longest of onboards, so we'll stick with what we've got currently. As Weeks crosses the line, where will he go? I don't think that lap counted. It did not. So he does not clock a lap.
Well, it's a perfect time for an onboard then. A better time. Okay.
As Weeks decides to potentially fix the foliage. Alex Buffoli, 1 minute 10.4 in 4th spot. Darius Timms in 5th. And it's the Josh and Stephen podcast for a little bit here. As everybody
DJ
done with their
said
qualifying
that
laps.
roundabout was not fair. I think that's what I'm feeling he was going with. That roundabout, that's not fair. I want more space.
As with the way that the drop week is, our points are a little funky, so we won't have a graphic for it, but I can tell you verbally that with the 2 podiums, Will Roberts is comfortably the points leader. I was going to guesstimate and say that Victor Valley's second in points, but no Valley tonight, no Josh Stoltz tonight. Alex Buffoli, if I look through here, he might be tied with John Eckert. I'm not too sure. Like I said, our graphic a little bit broken on that regard. As we a wait for the end of qualifying, 5 minutes. I wonder if they're going to kick it forward because this is with only 6 cars and everyone's off track. I'm not really sure what's going to go on here.
I would certainly hope so. Doesn't seem like anything's happening, so
As Dylan Clark starting their little drivers meeting, so I don't think they are going to advance it during this. As everyone, he's just letting everybody know, don't be silly tonight with the 6 cars. And like I've said before in some NASA races, I have seen races where it's only 2 cars and it is an immense battle. You don't have to have a lot of cars to have a good time. We saw, and I've mentioned this numerous times, my first exposure to the American Le Mans series was 2012 at Road America. And I bring this story up a lot, but it was the prototype class. Dyson Racing and Muscle Milk Pickett Racing were the only 2 cars in the top class of this series at that time. And Muscle Milk had an issue and fell down the order and came back from 4 laps down to lose by a bumper at the start finish line. So it doesn't matter if you only have 2 cars, 6 cars, or 46 cars in the instance of the sports car series. It's always going to be a good time.
heck yeah. Right.
I was expecting them to kick it forward, but they are not going to do so. So I can guesstimate points, like I said. Will Roberts, because Will was most laps led in pole in Homestead, so that gives him 73. Then he had 65 in Laguna. No Matias Macromini tonight. No Stoltz tonight. I do think that I'm pretty confident in saying that John Eckert, 6th in Homestead, 5th in Laguna. That is 100 points. So I'm pretty confident in saying that he is 2nd in points. We do have a drop week in the TORQ IndyCar series. I mean, a lot of these guys are going to use it tonight. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good idea. We do have Indianapolis, Road America, Iowa, the next 3 races. So what we've noticed with the TORQ series, as I did not notice until preparing for this show this evening, that the way TORQ is scheduled, they're doing 3 races on, 1 week off. 3 races on, 1 week off. So it gives these guys some time to relax, maybe practice the next race, especially with Indianapolis. But the only thing that sucks now, Stephen, is, or actually, no, there are open setups. So I'm going to be flipping it. I was going to say, it's fixed setup. It kind of sucks. They can't practice for Indy, but that gives them an entire week to prepare their setup for Indianapolis. That's going to be brilliant.
That is actually huge.
Just want to address the lack of the TORQ Endurance Series race on Saturday evening. Won't go into too much detail in regards to what happened, but there was some iRacing issues, we'll chalk it up as, and they were unable to have that race. And obviously, we were unable to have our cast. On the ASN news ticker at the bottom, we will have mentioned that is a TBA, as we're not sure if they're going to have it this Saturday or if they're going to wait until the slot in March to run that. If I pull up the graphic really quick, I can tell you guys verbally. What was supposed to be round 2 is now going to be round 1, and it is scheduled for the 15th at Sebring. So I'm not entirely sure if that's going to be round 1, if they're going to race Saturday. I don't know. Let's take a look at the lap times. Brian's asking for some times here, Moreau. Do we have those? 1 minute 7.7 for Miguel Alcrudo. 1 minute 8.3. Oh, well,
hold on.
That one didn't work.
Here
we are.
I'm getting it.
Johnny Eckert, 1 minute 9.3. Buffoli, 1 minute 10.4. 1 minute 11.438. Here, Darius Timms, about 20 seconds left here in qualifying.
I got you, Brian.
So, 6 cars, 30 laps. You do have to change tire compounds. I want to mention last week, of course, the IndyCar rule in the real world is you have to run the alternates and the primaries at least once. That rule was not coded into the session, but everybody else, except for Matias Macromini, followed the rule. I'm going to be clear in saying that this is team owner Josh speaking. I did file a protest with that. So we're going to see what happens. It has not been addressed yet. So the running order from Laguna might change. It might not. Team owner Josh has been kicked out of the building. ASN Josh is back in command. Let's take a look at the grid, even though I know we've got it right there. We'll take a look at the fancy grid that Brian Sawyer worked so hard to create for Long Beach. On pole is Miguel Alcrudo.
Like
Stephen.
What?
Once the graphic.
What is happening? Sorry, what's going on? I'm trying to get the cars on
starting grid. Unless you're falling out of the session. I have no clue what's happening.
Oh. I help if I change camera. I forgot.
Here we go.
Scenic blimp. Sorry.
Let's take a look at the grid. Do we have that graphic?
Yes.
Miguel Alcrudo, 1 minute 7.7. Will Roberts, 1 minute 8.3. Johnny Eckert, 1 minute 9.363. 1 minute 10.422. Alex Buffoli, 1 minute 11.438. Darius Timms and DJ Weeks did not clock a time.
I swear we keep it professional around here. I swear.
Listen, I didn't know. So, inside baseball again. We use 2 different systems. This is the Stephen and Josh podcast tonight with only 6 cars. Be warned. So, we use different systems for Stephen's broadcast and Brian's broadcast. So, when I do a broadcast with Brian, when I do one with Brian, it has different systems. I can hear the audio of the music and everything like that. So it helps me key myself in and start talking, right? Well, Stevens doesn't have that. And I told Stephen 5 minutes before we go, I say, you don't have to say anything. I'm going to pay attention to the screen. I'm going to know when to start talking. Hey, I didn't know when to start talking. So here we are, getting ready in Long Beach as we roll on our half of a formation lap. As we up the crest through turn 7, through turn 8 to East Seaside Way. We had Scott Dixon and Pato O'Ward crash into each other. I think it was 2023 in the Long Beach Grand Prix. Alcrudo, Eckert, Roberts, Buffoli, Timms, and Weeks. Are we doing a single file start? There's no way.
It'd be real interesting, I'm not gonna lie. I know
Historically,
this track's not very too wide, but
when IndyCar comes here with 27 cars, it's a fun time because there's like 3 rows that are side by side and the rest are single file. It's kind of comical. As we get ready, 6 cars, 30 laps. Stephen and Josh podcast getting ready to go. Thanks for joining us on ASN. We get ready to go green here in Long Beach.
base car's off.
Green.
Green flag off the line. Calm start with Alcrudo and Roberts. Then it's Eckert and Buffoli. Timms and Weeks down to turn number 1. Alcrudo hugs the inside. Roberts tries it on the outside, locks up the right front, and off the points leader goes in turn 1. Side by side, Buffoli and Timms. Timms takes the spot. This puts Roberts to 6th in the back of the field. It's so easy to get that mistake and have that happen. Cold tires, super bumpy, and here we are. Miguel Alcrudo attempting to pull away. Ran very well last week on a 2-race winning streak in the GT4 division for the TORQ Sports Car Series. And Alcrudo out front after half a lap here in Long Beach. Timms and Eckert battling for the 2nd spot, Stephen. Buffoli, Weeks, and Roberts. Expect Roberts, he's on the blacks, so that's interesting. Well, he can still run long as El Crudo locks up in the hairpin. Gonna be interesting. Keep an eye on Roberts because he's gonna come up to DJ Weeks. I wonder if he's going to easily dispatch of the 97. As he crosses the line, he is 6.5 seconds behind race leader Miguel El Crudo. And El Crudo, it's going to be a 30-lap qualifying session, 30-lap practice session. You can just cruise and get the laps. And when you're in the zone in a Dallara IndyCar here at Long Beach, it's exquisite. It's serene, marvelous, whatever adjective you want to use. It is so much fun, especially when you can wrangle the car over the bumps through 6, through 7, down the hill to 8 to East Seaside Way. And the only thing that you're going to have to compete with as Tim's into the wall in the 31. My sim reported a broken front wing, but it came back. So I'm not sure what's going on here. As there is no damage healing, so we'll figure it out. I think this race is going to be a lot of, think Ayrton Senna, 1988 Monaco, in the zone, running your own race, lapping. And if you have a lapse of judgment, that's when you hit the wall and have a mistake. Weather here in Southern California, 68 degrees, mostly cloudy, and a track temperature of 104 degrees, super slippy, as Will Roberts pits in car number 2, and he is missing part of his front wing. He did exactly what Darius Timms did, and the points leader has to go to the pit lane, broke the left front suspension.
Ooh.
Massive hit.
Let's go back and look at that real quick.
There he is.
Oh.
You get, so, like I said, the curb is deceiving. The curb is not the apex. The wall is the apex. So when you try and run the curb as the apex, you're going to end up in the tire barrier on the other side of that wall, on the other side of that corner, I should say. And points leader, dare I say it, if there's a bad week, or if there's a week to have a bad week, Stephen, there's only 6 cars here. He's still going to be scoring a healthy chunk of points. He is on the black sidewall. No, he's on the green tires. So, the alternate tires. As Eckert and Timms to the inside. On Eckert into turn 1. Timms takes the spot. Buffoli sneaking into the picture for the 3rd position.
That's a beautiful camera sweep right there for the roundabout.
As shout out to Tyler hanging out with us in chat. A couple of us having some fun here tonight for the TORQ IndyCar Series. 4 laps in.
If you guys really like that camera sweep around that roundabout there, give a shout out to Andrew Carvalli IV for those Whiplash sim cams. Thank you so much.
I love it.
Sorry,
love it. Love it. Look at that. I tell you what, Stephen.
That
Go
really
to
was
Miguel
actually
El Crudo.
beautiful.
Go to El Crudo and let's ride on board for a lap and enjoy a full send lap here in Long Beach.
He is sending it, actually. For someone who's just could just be Sunday driving it, he's actually full sending this. Kind of here for it.
As El Crudo comes off the final corner to complete lap number 5 this evening in Long Beach. He has a 4-second lead over Darius Timms. Alex Buffoli is 3/4 of a second behind Eckert in 3rd, so we should have a battle for the podium. And I'm interested to see how Will Roberts will fare. He's on the alternate, the green sidewall tire for the street circuits. If I recall correctly, and I don't want to butcher the name, I think it's like some form of cactus that they get the rubber, that they create the rubber from for the green sidewall. So, environmentally friendly instead of all the oils and such.
Heck yeah. That's interesting.
So, Buffoli gapped by Eckert by a couple tenths of a second further. They equaled lap times. Oh, that's their best lap. Apologies for that. Last time around, it was 1 minute 10.7 for Eckert, 1 minute 11.0 for Buffoli, as we still ride on board El Crudo in the 44. So we've got El Crudo from Florida. We've got Darius Timms from Ontario, Canada. And Johnny Eckert sitting in the third position in car number 90. The American from New York, and Buffoli from New York as well, battling for the podium place. 0.8 of a second again. They equaled their lap times the last time around. 0.3 down on Timms, but equal to each other. Just want to give an update to points leader Will Roberts. Now, might make a mistake early. Utilize these soft tires. He was a second faster than El Crudo the last time around. So I wonder if Roberts can utilize this clear track over this entire race. And maybe El Crudo has an issue, potentially. We've seen crazier things happen. And Roberts can get back to the podium. Off-pit strategy because of that issue in turn number 8. Timms in second. Eckert third. Running order has not changed. Buffoli has dropped 0.3 from Eckert. So tempting when you wind through 9, 10, and 11 to that hairpin, and you get so close because the concertina is back together, and then you open up the throttle and pull away on corner exit. It is the worst optical illusion ever when you're driving a race car. Last time around for Buffoli, 1 minute 10.9, 1 minute 10.6 for Eckert. We're looking at El Crudo. Did he hit the wall? A slight touch. He didn't. He didn't. I didn't hear any sound on my end.
I heard some scraping.
That's how precise you have to be at these street circuits. Basically giving the wall a little kiss on corner entry and exit. Otherwise, you're not utilizing all the road, of course. I know I talked about Roberts being a second faster, Stephen, but 47.7 seconds is the gap from the race leader to our points leader. And granted, he lost. I would say he probably lost about 5 seconds when he hit the wall in the pit stop. What a save! Oh, I can't tell you how difficult it is when you mount the curb and you begin to curb hop and bounce. It is so hard to not only obviously predict where the car is going, but to save it to begin with. And Robert saved it through 4 and 5. So he is 47.5 seconds down. It was about 32 seconds lost when he had to pit. So he's about 15 seconds behind El Crudo once the pit stops come unravel. So keep an eye on Roberts on the ticker there. Remember that if you'd like to join TORQ, they've got the TORQ IndyCar Series, which of course we are watching now. They've got the TORQ Sports Car Series on Thursdays, and the GT4 Challenge, currently on broadcasted both on Thursdays, and the Endurance Series, which is launching soon. QR code on the ticker there. And if you'd like your content broadcasted, asntvUSA.com. So I think Buffoli made a slight mistake in the 08. I'll take a look off monitor and see what happened, because he gave up a lot of time to Johnny Eckert in the 90. I think he might have just been slow. Maybe conserving tires, maybe conserving fuel, because now he is, let's see, 2 seconds behind Eckert, as everyone pretty much running their own races currently in Long Beach. Last lap for Roberts, despite the slide, 1 minute 9.6. He was still a second faster than El Crudo, so the tires beginning to wear fuel beginning to burn off, but it's an interesting crossover point between when you burn all the fuel down and your tires wear, and it's frustrating in these cars, to say the least, because when you hit that thermal limit, at least on the ovals, from what I remember when I drove these cars, you hit that thermal limit, it will not tell you. It will not give you a warning. You will lose it instantly. So, something to just keep in mind.
And I would just like to point out, we should have tire data for temperatures. These are real things that can be tracked in real life. We have temperature sensors in the rims of the tires to specifically be able to tell how hot the tires are. So
1 minute 10.1 for Buffoli. He was up by half a second over Eckert. That gap is 1.8 seconds. As we ride on board Al Crudo, rounding turns 4 and 5. And the gap, 31 seconds from Weeks to Roberts for 5th position. And Buffoli starting to cut into some time on Eckert. The gap was 1.8 at the line. It's 1.6 now. Interesting to see if Buffoli can challenge for the podium in Long Beach. .2 now for Eckert over Buffoli. I'm not sure. There's got to be some fuel saving going on, because now it's 1.7, 1.6. Get your hopes up for a battle, and then it just goes away. Interesting to note, obviously there's an entry to the pit lane near the hairpin before you hit the hairpin, but that is an emergency lane only. So it's not like these guys can make a last second move into there. As we ride on board Al Crudo through the fountain onto the curb. 1 minute 10.0 for Al Crudo as Buffoli locks it up in turn 1. He gets passed by DJ Weeks and put Buffoli back to 5th, and that will end any podium battle for Buffoli. And that's a driver who is pushing, who got close, thought about it, and it's over for Buffoli, unless something goes wrong between Weeks and Eckert. We ride on board Weeks in the 97, multiple different camera angles. Over the crest of 7, down to turn 8.
Hopefully see Alex, but I realized 4 seconds on Long Beach was quite a bit away.
Long time, for sure.
Be far away, but
as we begin lap number 13 here in Long Beach. Al Crudo, 1 minute 9.8. Timms, 1 minute 10.9. Eckert crosses the line, 1 minute 10.4. So he gained a little bit of time on Timms for the second spot, but it's still 3.2 seconds away. And DJ Weeks crosses the line, 1 minute 10.4. Curious to see how much time Buffoli lost. It was a 119.3 for the 08. And then Will Roberts, our points leader, just joining us, had an issue in turn 1 and then a further issue in turn 8. He rounds the hairpin. See what lap he will run. No Victor Valley, no Zach Goddard, no Josh Stoltz tonight. Couple cars missing. No Ethan Halsey, for example. Roberts crosses the line, 1 minute 0. 8/10 up. So, before pit stops begin, I think we're going to step aside, and you won't miss a thing from Long Beach. We're going to go ASN nonstop.
So interesting.
I love your browser history.
I like that you're not hiding anything from me.
By the way, I sent the address. I like your neighborhood.
You are so special. This ad is just for you.
I learned so many things from you.
You are so generous.
With your personal data.
Switch on privacy, switch off trackers and viruses. Go to NordVPN.com. NordVPN. Safely be you.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Absolutely be doing what he has to do. He has to go for the championship. He has to recover the points that he lost. He's down the race, takes the lead in the 12. What a move. And he takes the lead and holds it.
Side between these two in turn one. This is going to get spicy.
Exiting turn one, over the jump to begin the first lap clock at the inside line. McLaughlin contact between them. They are still side by side. This opens the door for Wetz. He can't make anything happen. In the 26, he has not won in quite some time. Dragster acing the entry to turn one, up and to the inside of Magnus, gives him a nudge. The grip strip on the inside, Phil. Wetz had a little bit better run, but looks like Rocky's going to hold the spot.
You're so interesting.
I love your browser history.
We welcome you back to round 3 of season 2 of the TORQ IndyCar series from the streets of Long Beach in California with Stephen Moreau in the production truck, and also next to me in the commentary box, my name is Josh Mertz, live on the Automotive Sports Network. Just a reminder, cameras all season on ASN are produced and provided by Whiplash SimCams. Be sure to check them out at facebook.com/WSimCams. And thank you, Andrew Cardinale IV, for all of your camera support. And if you like what you see tonight, be sure to like and subscribe to the Automotive Sports Network on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. And ring the bell to be notified of our live streams weekly, along with our short-form video content. I just want to update everyone on what's been happening during our break. We had great timing to come back for the pit stops. Will Roberts, after straight-lining turn 1 on the start, then crashed in turn 8. He is 3.5 seconds behind who was race leader Miguel Alcrudo. They both have pitted. Johnny Eckert just exited the pit lane. Darius Timms has exited the pit lane. So it's Buffoli and Weeks on the front 2 spots right now. And I just wonder if...
Weeks is giving up. What is...
I missed that. Apologies for that one.
He straight lined before the fountain almost into a wall, and then reversed.
He just pulled over.
Went back through, and then he pulled over and stopped. What is he? Did he miss the pit lane? Did he mean to pit and then?
So let me see. I'm rolling it off monitor. That was a very weird entry to turn 1. You know what? He probably had a hardware issue. I'd like to think he did. He's been going very slow today. No disrespect to him, but I could tell there was something not right in the 97, so he is off the track. So now, Alcrudo leads by 4.8 seconds over Will Roberts. Darius Timms in third.
Alcrudo's now back in the lead again.
So, I just want to bring up programming notes really fast. Just a reminder, TORQ is off next week. So that's why the schedule looks a little weird. Our next cast is Thursday for TORQ Sports Car at Monza. That's 8:40 p.m. Eastern. Brian Sawyer, myself, Josh Mertz for that. We've got the iRacing Rallycross Strength of Field on Saturday. Brian's going to be handling all of that. Looks like it kicks off 8 o'clock Eastern time. We are off next week. Therefore, technically, our next show after these two, NASA Rallycross Lights, on Sunday, the 2nd, in Charlotte. You'll have Josh Darnell and Ethan Halsey for that one. Contenders on that following Monday in our next round for the TORQ IndyCar Series. Round 4 and Indianapolis on the 4th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Stephen Moreau, Josh Mertz with that one. And just a reminder for NASA Rallycross Futures on the debuting ASN Plus subscription service. More details on that one soon. Will Roberts has hit the pit lane, so the off-sequence nature of his race is going to bite him for the rest of the night. DJ Weeks has just exited the pit lane as well, Steven.
Yes, he has.
We can take away that programming notes graphic so we can see some cars on track. So, 10.2 seconds, El Crudo ahead of Tim's. And with Roberts exiting the pit lane now, it's the worst feeling as a racing driver is when you make a mistake, right? And you then catch back up for pit strategy or in Rallycross the Joker. And in this instance, El Crudo pitted and they were brought back together, but Roberts still had to pit. As he spins it, no, he saved it in the 2, like he had that same issue earlier. And this man pushing super hard, does it again. And the problem is, when you heat these tires up with wheel spin like that, it's going to take a while for them to get cooled down. And Roberts did not have a fun time through turn 5.
Did not there. We'll stick with him for a minute. Yeah, these last couple of corners got and
El Crudo leads 1 minute 8.0 for the 44. Ahead of Darius Timms, 1 minute 8.5, 1 minute 9.2 for Johnny Eckert. Weeks is in 6th off the lead lap. Buffoli in 4th, and Will Roberts in 5th.
Johnny Eckert. Let's see what's going on over here.
Car number 90. 16 and a half seconds ahead of Alex Buffoli. He heads into turn 1. Rounding the famous fountain hairpin. We've seen so much action over the years here. And through turn 5. And on West Shoreline Drive, down to turn 6, turn 7. Like I said, surface change mid-corner, off camber, up the crest. Car gets light, down the hill, and into turn number 8. Eckert car width off of where the apex actually is. So, leaving some time on the table is the New York native.
Maybe, hopefully Buffoli can capitalize on that.
17 seconds. There has to be something catastrophically going wrong for him to capitalize there. It's lap number 23 for Miguel Al Crudo. His last lap time, 1 minute 9.0. Impressively, Darius Timms, 1 minute 9.2. Eckert, 1 minute 9.3. Will Roberts, 1 minute 8.3. The man is pushing so hard to try and catch this, but that's what I mean when you're clobbering the curves to get every little bit of time. You have to be on the razor's edge on these cars. And you know what I really think about is we were joking, whether it was on air or off air, last week when he had that issue. Oh, commentator's curse, points leader into the fence. Did he get away with it? My sim reported the right front broken. I know we're not focused on him right now. Can we take a look at him real quick? So, is that looking like he got away with it with just a broken front wing? It is.
It
On my
is?
sim, he hit the wall in turn 1 and broke the car. Back to my point about turn 1 and Will Roberts. He's got a very bad relationship with it. Straight lined at Mid-Ohio and crashed into Zach Trevino last week and forgot how to hit the brake pedal in turn 1 at Long Beach. 3 consecutive turn 1s from as far as I can remember. And basically the same result. So Roberts sits in 5th ahead of DJ Weeks.
I mean, you at least got to give it to the guy. Consistency.
That is. Yeah. Not in a good way, but it's still consistency, right?
Still pretty consistent, right?
And he's not going to
Gotta give him
pit.
some
I mean, I
respect.
wouldn't. So this is a strategy that, as a commentator, Red, I'm sitting here and I'm like, you know what? I don't know what he's doing. But as a racing driver, I sit here and I say, you know, you can't pit again. If you're hoping for anything to go wrong for the top 4 on a dismal night like this, you can't pit.
No.
Because with your luck, when you pit to fix the wing, the top 3 or 4 are going to crash and burn spectacularly.
Right? Like,
So we'll see.
as we're
Shout
coming
out to
up on
Eddie
our last
Boyles hanging
lap.
out with us in chat. Not sure if he's still around, but having some fun. So, 25, excuse me, there, laps in the books for Miguel Alcrudo. Tim's 11.5 back. Eckert further 6.5, 7.5 back. Buffoli 19.5 back. It has been the story of the Stephan and Josh podcast tonight, Mr. Moreau. You're enjoying some snacks, which I hope aren't keying up our microphones. I've been enjoying my water. It's a good time. Alcrudo takes 5 laps to go in Long Beach. His fastest lap was 1 minute 8.0. His last lap was a 1 minute 9.6. Darius Timms matched that lap time the last time around. So we were talking about Alcrudo sending it, which he was at first, but now it's become ever so prevalent. There's really no point to push right now, so
Right?
hanging out.
Like, he really should just be Sunday driving.
Well, I would say a 2.5 off your best lap pace is definitely Sunday driving now, but like I mentioned earlier, you make one small mistake, even if you're on a Sunday drive, just like Senna in 1988, and you'll end up in the wall. So you have to stay somewhat focused, especially in these cars. Everything can go wrong in an instant in these Indy cars.
Oh, 100%. I tried to race them one time around, I think it was the Daytona Oval. And, oh boy. Trying
Did
to
you
do-
recreate Ryan Preece 2025 Daytona 500 and go for airplane crash?
Oh, yep.
Exquisite.
And it was right into the catch fence. It's so bad that the car actually got stuck in the catch fence, and it was just the tip of the nose was touching the ground. So, it caught like at least 8 cars going by because they thought the car wasn't touching the ground on their screen, but no, on my screen the car was touching the ground, and it like 8 people caught the nose of my car. Well,
That's
it was
impressive.
still stuck in the catch fence.
Because I thought iRacing would have gotten rid of the get stuck in the catch fence physics from NASCAR 2003, but clearly they have not. Will Roberts has passed. Never mind, my graphics lied to me. DJ Weeks is still off the lead lap. I don't know why it flashed green. Apologies there. It's been a long day. I'll tell you what, though, Will Roberts is 3.5 seconds away from Alex Buffoli. So despite having issues several times, he might be able to sneak away with a 4th place finish, and we might have a battle here in the closing laps. 3 laps to go for Miguel Alcrudo. 1 minute 9.2 for car number 44. Darius Timms will cross the line. Let's see what he will run in the 31. 2nd place man, 1 minute 9.8, 6/10 off of Alcrudo. Eckert crosses the line. He's 6 seconds behind Timms, 1 minute 9.2.
He does put up a
Does
fast
Eckert have
lap
anything
time
for
these days.
Timms? Tims' fastest lap was a 1 minute 8.1. Eckert 1 minute 8.6. And Eckert 5.5 back from Tims, pushing like mad to try and get this second spot in the 90.
Just might have a battle. Because, oh, they're both missing wings. Oh my god, when did this happen? I know
Foley?
when Will's happened, but Foley's also missing a wing. He's missing the opposite side, ironically.
I'm rolling it back, and it looked like on lap number 21, he had an issue, which he did. Lap number 21, he crashed in the fountain and broke the left front end plate off of car number 08.
And here it comes.
Crudo takes 2 laps to go, already on that penultimate lap here in Long Beach. 12 seconds ahead of Darius Tims. Johnny Eckert has given up a couple tenths of a second to Darius Tims. And Will Roberts, 3 seconds back from Foley. It's going to be a tall order to try and get the extra couple of points there.
And Will is
What
pulling
could have
all
been?
the stops right now.
What could have been for Will Roberts? And this is, I promise it's not a dig, right? We talked about last week. We talked about Thursday when we had some cars doing some rough rejoins, right? And I was calling it as I see it. What could have been? But I understand. As Miguel Alcrudo, if we can pop up to the race leader, he takes the white flag here in Long Beach. As a racing driver, turn 1, lap 1, one of the hardest things to do. You've got so many nerves. You've got all your cars around you. Some of your friends, of course, some of your enemies. And I think Alcrudo just put a foot wrong and kissed the fountain there, the wall. But the nerves of turn 1, easy to do. Cold tires, bumpy. And it's when you put together the full package and you take all of the mistakes out of the equation, Will Roberts is going to be a weapon, and not in a negative way. Going to be a weapon this season if we can get that consistency ironed out. Speaking of, he's 1.1 seconds from Foley, so we'll try and catch that up as we go. Miguel Alcrudo has led from the start in car number 44, and if I remember correctly, this will be his 3rd win in a row after the sports car AM Class win and the GT4 win last week. Through the hairpin for the final time is our race leader, Miguel Alcrudo. Off the final corner, down Shoreline Drive, Alcrudo wins in Long Beach by 12.7 seconds ahead of Darius Tims. We're going to pop immediately back to Foley and Roberts here. I'm taking a look off monitor. Tims will come home in second. Great run for Darius Tims and Johnny Eckert. And Will Roberts has half a lap, Stephen, to try and get this move done. He is hauling the mail through these corners to try and catch up. He's less than a second away.
He's got to put his foot to the pedal, metal to the pedal. If there was a now or never, it's freaking
Over
now,
the curbs.
brother.
I'm not sure if that's going to be a slowdown or not. That was impressive. Through the final couple of corners into the hairpin. Quick send, locks up. Half a second away. And Foley's going to hold off Roberts for the 4th spot. Points leader Roberts in 5th and DJ Weeks in 6th.
He tried. He almost got it there, though. He almost got up that 4th position, but Alex did a great job defending that inside line there on the last corner.
Not sure if Alcrudo will pop in for an interview, but you let me know if we're all prepped and ready for interviews, and we can jump into that.
Sounds good. I'll let you know here. We got Darius Tims and Johnny Eckert. So who do you want to take in first?
We'll take in 3rd place, Johnny Eckert.
Eckert. Pop us over, and I think we'll be good to go.
down. I'm like, what?
Mr. Johnny Eckert. It's Josh and Stephen in the booth. You got us?
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. Just want to make sure that we can hear you externally here. Give me 2 seconds. There we go.
Yes.
We're good. So a very simple race. I have basically 2 questions morphed into one. Talk me through your race and anyone you'd like to thank for the 3rd place result tonight.
Well, first off, I don't even know what to say because I have had a lot of bad luck here. Just a lot of little mistakes. It just feels like this has been one of the most put together races I've had in a while. And given that I'm not used to this car and the fact that I didn't hit anything at all, I didn't even touch the wall at any point tonight was a miracle. So, yeah, I feel like I'm struggling a little bit with some of the tire rules and stuff with the IndyCar just from not being, around the car, not having driven the car. So I was under the impression I had to qualify in one set and then use the same set to start the race. Apparently, that's not the case. So who knows what could have been a little bit different, but if I was able to use the alternates in qualifying. But yeah, just overall, it was just kind of see how it goes early on with the primaries, and then as the run went on, the primaries got really comfortable, switched to the alternates, and it just got really, really, really fast. So I was having a great time. Burned all my push to pass, which was also pretty neat experience for me because again, not used to having something like that available to me. So yeah, but thankfully to come home P3. Thanks. I just want to thank the league for hosting, putting the race on. Thank you guys for broadcasting. Shout out to my teammates Alex Boffley and DJ Weeks. DJ ran out of fuel. He wasn't paying attention.
That explains that. Okay. We wondered.
I was a little upset with him because I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'm gonna end up getting a lap led. Well, he may or may not have driven by pit road, may or may not have run out of fuel because he forgot to pit. So yeah, so that was that situation. But yeah, I want to thank them, and yeah, I'm looking forward to wherever we go in a couple weeks. I think we're off next week, right?
Got a week off, and then Indianapolis, my friend. Good run, and we'll see you there.
The Oval?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, that's gonna be a big one. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
You too. 2nd place, man, Darius Timms joining us. You got it's me and Stephen in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
I just kind of morphed 2 questions into one for Johnny. I'm going to do the same thing for you. Walk me through your race, and who would you like to thank for the P2 result tonight?
So I went into this not expecting to be on top, but I mainly, the whole premise going in was just maintain and survive the race because it's a tight track. You can hit the wall real easily. The car is not easy to handle for what it is. And yeah, man, it was a good race.
I noticed that you guys were having a little bit of a battle there. I think into turn 1. I think, did he let you go, or did you just dive bomb and send it?
Eckert? I don't know what happened there. I just know he let off, and then I was able just to get by him. So.
Okay.
And then towards the end, I saw he was creeping on me in the times, so he was using P2P. So I started matching just to maintain.
For sure. Anyone you'd like to thank for the result tonight?
Well, I'd like to thank Shifty Racing. They're a great group of guys. They're guys I race with a lot, and they always push me to improve. And Ethan Halsey for this great league that he's got going on here.
For sure. Alrighty, my friend. Good run tonight, and we'll see you Thursday, and then in a couple weeks at Indianapolis.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, Mr. Moreau. We would normally bring up the fancy finish. And I want to say that Will Roberts still leads the points. Like I said earlier, our point sheet's a little broken, so we won't have a graphic for that. But let's take a look. Let's take a look at some programming notes, some sponsor plugs. We'll get some final thoughts and close it out. So our next broadcast will be Thursday for the TORQ Sports Car Series at Monza, 8:40 p.m. Eastern. You'll have Brian Sawyer, myself, Josh Mertz for that. We've got the iRacing Rallycross Strength of Field on Saturday at 8 o'clock with Brian Sawyer masterminding that. TORQ is off next week, so that means our next broadcast will be NASA Rallycross Lights, Sunday, the 2nd of March. It's going to be super fun. 9 o'clock Eastern time. Ethan Halsey, Josh Darnell for that. TORQ IndyCar will be back in 2 weeks at Indianapolis. As just a reminder, cameras all season on ASN, brought to you by Whiplash SimCams. And be sure to check them out at facebook.com/WSimCams. And thank you, Andrew Cardinale IV, for all of your camera support. And if you like what you saw tonight, be sure to like and subscribe to the Automotive Sports Network on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. And ring the bell to be notified of our live streams weekly, along with our short form video content, courtesy of Jess Rakowski. Give me a final thought, Stephen, and we'll wrap it up.
That was pretty good. Miguel ran away with it again. It was pretty sweet to see him do that for the second race in a row. And it's not as much battling as I thought I was gonna get to see, but yeah, it is what it is. Maybe next time we get to see the cars come here, we'll get to see a lot more cars on track and hopefully a lot more battling. That's about it.
It was interesting to see if Will Roberts could carve his way through the field after the mistake on lap 1. But like I said earlier, you fix those mistakes and it's going to be a good time. So I'm excited to see what will happen in a couple of weeks in Indianapolis. Hopefully we get the car count back with the oval. We had, I think, 20 cars there last season. So hopefully we have an exceptionally great race. As the checkered flag has fallen on the evening here at Long Beach, on behalf of our entire production staff and producer Stephen Moreau, my name is Josh Mertz. Thank you for joining us for tonight's coverage of the TORQ IndyCar Series, and we congratulate our winner, Miguel Alcrudo. Just a reminder, don't miss round 3 of the TORQ Sports Cars in Monza on Thursday, but until then, so long, everyone.